It is always great catching up with my next guest. And once again, he's got another big fight, this time against Sean O'Malley, UFC 276, July 2nd. It's Pedro Munhoz back here on the program, looking like Clark Kent today with the glasses. Pedro, how are you?
Pretty good, Jan. Pretty good. How about yourself?
I'm doing awesome. Have you always worn glasses? I think this is the first time we've done an interview with your glasses on.
No, it's just because I just got up from a nap, so I didn't want to just
Oh,
like,
gotcha.
so
That's
I like let me just put in my glasses. But I usually wear glasses when I read or if I'm stay too long, like on phone or any computer, and my eyes starting getting tired. So yeah, I usually wear glasses when I read.
That's great. Well, it looks good, man. Again, really happy to see you get this fight. It seems like all the time you're getting all the big names. Let me just ask you first, just how excited were you to get Sean O'Malley? Because there's a lot of fighters who've wanted to fight him, and now you got the matchup.
Yeah, that was great. Actually, I was just training, living life, and then UFC asked me to fight again. It was in May, so I couldn't do that because I was coming back from an injury. Since my last couple fights, I hurt my foot really bad, and every time that I train and get into those hard fights, I was just hurting more and more. So, and then I was excited right away to fight O'Malley. You know, May was the first day that UFC was providing us, and then I said I would be ready since July, and it was really good when I found out that the fight was still on, and we're gonna literally be scrapping on July 2nd. So I can't wait.
Yeah, as part of International Fight Week, which is great. And just quickly, I mean, you don't have to go into too much detail. What was the injury you were dealing with that couldn't let you fight in May?
Yeah, that was a couple years ago. I hurt my foot and fight, back to back. It was Aljo, was Frankie, and then was Jimmy. So it was a lot of fights that I was, tough fights back to back, and with less than 4 months between those fights. So it was just a lot on my body. So since my last fight, it was in December. It was a good time to heal from the previous injury and back in shape 100% and training and do what I do best.
Okay. Yeah, good to have you healthy for this one. Was there any thought, because I know you've expressed this before, you mentioned about maybe going down to flyweight. Was there any thought of that after your last fight, or did you decide to just stay at bantamweight?
Yeah, I wanted just to heal like the injuries. I had like a few injuries that I was going push every single training camp. It was not able to heal in 100%. So and I was, I was I was preferring focus to heal my injuries, and the opportunity present itself as a bantamweight. That's the division that I always fought. Feel good. I usually, flyweight was you had to go to a different like routine of training diet, I guess.
Mhm.
I'm not a lightweight. I'm not too light to fight a bantamweight either. I usually walking around like 158, 157, healthy, eating clean. So it would be a drastically change for my body. Something that, we never know. I cannot tell you that I closed this chapter because, like I said, we fight at the best fighters in the world and the highest level, and I want to just to try my best with all these fighters out there. But I believe like bantamweight, that's the division that shows me now in this moment a bigger challenge. Things that I wanted to conquer and still, and so you bantamweight, that's the division still.
Well, you've had a lot of success at bantamweight. You fought, like I said, you've had one of the toughest strength of schedules in the bantamweight division. If you look at who you fought, former champions, it's crazy. I wanted to just quickly talk about your last fight. You were very close to finishing Dominick Cruz in that first round. I know you didn't get the result you wanted, but what did you take away the most from that fight? Because, like I said, one of the positives was you nearly took him out in the first.
Yeah, it was around that. I guess he wanted to test me also. It was the type of fight that, I like it. He was engaging back and forth. And second and third round, he was very smart to change the plan, and he was more like touch and go. That's not an excuse, but I was dealing big time with my foot injury going to the fight, and even UFC knew that we are almost. some people here in my training camp was mentioned to push that fight back, so I didn't want to. I wanted just to go there and see what I could do. Um, we not able to kick as I usually kick, even though I knew that I could good put in a good performance. I always believe in myself. So Dominick Cruz is a hell of a fighter. A lot of respect to him. Well-rounded game fighter, and he came hard. He came strong first round. Dropped him twice, and he's very resilient. He was able to recover very well and change the strategy second and third, which he was fighting more in the long distance. And due to one of my foot injury, I was not able to kick. It sounds like giving excuse, and not about that. Like I said, even if I was 100%, that was going to be a hell of a fighter. Nothing that I respect Dominick Cruz, um, former champion, hell of a fighter, and it was really good. It was really good, and for me, it was also that I knew what I could do different in the fight. That didn't happen that night. So, but I went back to the gym, back to work, and work with my coaches and all that. Every single fight that I present, I always try to be the best that I can be. You know, and with this O'Malley, I had like a good time since my last fight to fix like some of the stuff here and there. And I'm the type of fighter that I never chose the opponents. When Sean told me, "Oh, fight O'Malley on July 2nd," I told him that I was going to be ready to the second semester. I say, "Yeah, send me the contract and let's do it." And here we go.
And let's talk about Sean O'Malley. Obviously, an exciting fighter in the division, probably one of the biggest names in the division, and that includes the champ. Like, he's a really popular fighter, tall, lanky guy. He's very fast. How are you looking at this fight from a style perspective? Because I know he's going to be a little bit bigger than you in this fight.
Oh yeah, yeah. We've been watching a lot of his fights. Very high skills fighter, which has a lot of talent too. He's he's coming strong, showing a lot of his skills on his previous fight, which we have something there that we could watching and keeping working on. We know the type of fighter that he is. Uh, Also, I know the type of fighter that I am. And July 2nd, we're gonna be scrapping. We're gonna be scrapping, and he kind of know what type of fighter he's going to.
You're at one of the best gyms in the world at American Top Team. Someone I saw you getting to train with recently is one of the nicest guys, one of the most talented guys in the UFC, Muhammad Mokaev. What was it like getting to work with him? He's a flyweight.
Yeah, he just came to our gym a couple weeks ago. Very nice guy, young kid, has a lot of talent. He's in the gym right now. I'm very excited being working with him a couple times, and I can't wait the future. He's a very talented, hard work a lot. He works hard and has a lot of talent. And he's here right now training with the best fighters. So we see each other in the gym, crossing by and training every time that we get the chance to train together. It's really nice too, be able to train with this next generation of fighters. And it just make me a young fighter too, to see what these youngest fighters are bringing on the table. And that's been nice. I have people here that have a fight. A lot of the people right here help me also. So that's the type of environment that we're building right here in American Top Team. Not a lot of the trash talkers, but people that like to work hard and
Yeah.
putting hell of fights.
Who have you mainly had a chance to work with in camp so far, leading up to this fight? Who have been some of your main training partners?
Oh, yeah. We have the guy that we brought from Holland. His name is Massaro Glunter. He's a former kickboxer, a glory kickboxer fighter, tall, fast. Very good guy. He's doing his transition to MMA also, so it's very nice to be able to train with him. We have a few other guys here that they don't fight in UFC, and many people probably don't know. But we get our training. We get our training here. We are, able to bring some people from all over the world, and also the people that we already have here, and we have just a bunch of killers, man.
I know he's a bit bigger than you, but have you gotten to work at all with Grant Dawson? I know that's been a new addition to your team. Super talented guy in the lightweight division.
100%, very nice guy. We work like a few times and see him in the gym. It's really nice. We having a lot of those talent guys in our gym, and you know, and it's really nice to be able to share the knowledge with these guys and learn from them, and it makes all of us better.
How much do you think your experience will play into this fight? That's the one sort of criticism on O'Malley is that, a lot of his opposition has not been ranked opponents. You fought, like I said, probably one of the toughest schedules in the bantamweight division. How much will that play into this fight, do you think?
100%. He's a guy that has a lot of fights too. He hasn't fought. Definitely the type of fighters that I fought lately, special than being top 15, top 10 the last 6 years of my career. So that's the type of fighters that I have been. And one thing that I know that I have a lot of durability, and that experience cannot cannot pay that, because definitely it's or are you durable or you're not. I think that one of the facts that I can, you know, fight hard fights, and even though that I'm getting not any younger anymore, I think that my training lately for the last couple of years has been smarter. You know, like I said, we have a huge selection of fighters here. So, besides the fights that I've been, the type of fighters that I fought before, also the coaches we have, the training partners that we have all over the world, Brazil, Europe, Dagestan, Chechnya, Russia, all these is just, you know, make me a better fighter every time I step in the octagon.
I was going to ask you about that. 26 career fights. You've never been finished. And O'Malley, typically that's how he wins is by knockout, by finish. Like you must feel like, even more confident because you fought guys that have knockout power, Cody Garbrandt, the list goes on like that. You got to feel good about that, knowing that one of his biggest weapons might not even be a factor in this fight.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm excited. Like I said, I train, have a lot of, I have a lot of, I'm comfortable in fighting Sean O'Malley. I know very well my skills. I know what I'm good at, and what type of fighter that I am. And can't wait to fight him, you know, and keep climbing this ladder and
Mhm.
make it a legacy.
Who's going to be in your corner for this fight?
Yeah, and most like it's gonna be Cornen, Anderson França, my striking coach, Chad George, my buddy from California. He's always
Oh,
a
awesome. I
lot
know
of the
Chad.
time.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, Chad. He's always with me. He or Michael. That's
Yeah,
those guys that I usually earn me on fight week.
that's
So
great.
those guys. And the little one right here, she's getting there on Friday, right, Nani? When you get into Vegas, Friday or Saturday? Friday.
That's cool. Good stuff. That's cool. That's awesome. How do you see the fight playing out on July 2nd?
Yeah, it's I definitely see my hand getting raised that day. You know, I'm a well-rounded fighter. You know, the fight's going to the ground for sure. That I'm probably gonna take his foot up or choke his neck. If the fight still is standing up, I'm definitely gonna hurt him.
In terms of a win here against O'Malley, like, I know O'Malley's not ranked high, but he's such a popular name in the division. Do you think a win
For
really
sure.
propels you up just because, you'd be the guy to, defeat Sean O'Malley?
Yeah, it could be. It could be. I passed to my mind before, but it's not a realistic. We still have like 4 or 5 more weeks more to go. We have the fight. So I try to plan like step by step. So first, right now that I have to focus is in the fight itself, and then when the fight happens, and then we see, and we can move on to the next step. But now it's kind of hard, like to think passing on that fight, even though that, you know, it has a lot of hype. You know, he has been showing um, a lot of his skills on his previous fight. Nothing to take from him, you know. And I'm right there as a top 10. So it's, you know, it's gonna be a good delivery. You know, the whole crowd and the whole world that will be watching the fight on July 2nd, you know, they're gonna love it. They're gonna love it. And you know, and I can't wait to punch him and kick him really hard.
How many more fights do you have left on your UFC contract? Do you know?
Just renew my contract
Oh,
every
congrats! So
time that I.
new 4-fight deal.
Yep.
Congrats! That's awesome. I would imagine so. It was
And
such a
we
big
had a
fight that you got a nice
yeah.
contract.
No, we had a, and actually it was really nice. You know, we had like a couple fights still left in the last contract, and then you see, you know, present me a new contract, and regardless the other two fights that I had at the other one, I was like, let's do it.
Good. That's got to feel good though that the company's behind you and with good reason. I mean, you put on entertaining fights, Pedro.
Yeah, and you know, I'm always ready to go. You know, James, I love what I do, and nowadays, you know, I still have the same goal. You know, but now even more than, you know, once I'm getting more experience in being a part of the American top team, also having a vision to become like a coach one day in the place, you know, it just make me everything that I do is it's it's gonna it's gonna be for something good in the future, you know. So it doesn't matter the type of fighter, who is the fighter, you know. If I'm 100% healthy, I'm I'm gonna scrap with anyone.
Speaking of scraps, I know it's a few months ago, but we had that Aljamain Sterling and Piotr Jan rematch. Sterling retaining his title. How did you score that fight? Do you remember? Because some people felt like Jan did enough, but obviously Sterling was the one who came out on top.
Yeah, it was crazy. I was actually there in person. It was just 4 hours away from here, so I drove to Jacksonville and I watched it. It was a very hard. I won't lie to you. There was a very hard fight to score because even the same round, Ian started a little bit on fire, but eventually Aljamain ended up being on his back and controlling for almost the other half of the round, and you know, um, I know Peter was the later rounds he wanted to he was super fresh on his cardio. I could tell Aljo was a little bit tired because he was definitely the one that was grapple wrestle more. You know, Peter was kind of like doing nice setups and try to knock Aljo out. But it was very nice to watch that fight. You know, I never watched that fight after that day, so I was watching that fight with no emotions involved, and I think the judges had it right.
Okay. Yeah, obviously Aljo was the one who retained the belt. And just my last question: it looks like TJ Dillashaw would be next for Aljamain Sterling. However, it appears that he's still injured. Do you think your former opponent Jose Aldo might get that next title shot? Is that kind of what you're thinking?
Wow, that would be good if it happened. Imagine
It's a
Jose and
fresh
Aldo.
matchup too, right? They haven't fought each other, so I think it could potentially
Yep,
happen.
I hope that happened. You know, so it's gonna be a definitely a a name right there that uh, I realized that right after our fight, you know, that Jose, he's definitely now he's adapted very well to the weight. You know, I see when we fought how big and strong, fast he was. You know, even though I was able to connect like a clean shots, punches with him, he was ready. He was with a lot of people were saying that, oh, he doesn't have that anymore. I proved completely the opposite. He was able to absorb all the punches and stay in the fight and fought a really good fight, very strategic, strong. And even I told him after the fight, I was like, I'm sure that you have a lot of potential to become the next champion of bantamweight division also.
If they were to fight, since you fought both of them, who would you favor? Who do you think would win if they were to fight, Aldo or Aljamain Sterling?
I think Aldo will take that one.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah.
Stronger, powerful. Even Aldo has a good cardio, 5 rounds, but Aldo lately, since we fought, he changes some of the stuff on his old training system. You know, he's training with like new people, and you know when you're starting, he's still in the same team, but he has different varieties of training nowadays. That you know when you change a little bit the atmosphere, you change your training partners. It's kind of like gives you like a new air. That happened with me when I came here to American Top Team. You know, all of a sudden you feel fresh and you wanted to show how much you improve, and that's how I feel about those watching him fighting Ian. And when I fought him, and then right after that, when he fought Rob, so it just gave me the conclusion that I was right what I thought. When we fought, I was like, wow, that was not the guy that I was watching the videos. It's literally seems to me that a beast back in those days at featherweight, you know. So if he was taking shots and I was kicking him, kicking me back, it's pretty cool. It was a nice experience, you know, to be able to battle Aldo. Even though if I watch that fight back once in a while, I was one of the few guys that that's giving me just a little bit of credit. I was one of the few guys that I was standing, you know, with him, you know, toe to toe in the octagon. So if you see a lot of these fighters, they try to control him in the cage or, you know, don't engage that back and forth hard fight. And but that's my style, and I say, why I'm gonna change that? Oh, what are you gonna do? You're gonna stay there in exchange with Aldo? I say, of course. What else I'm gonna do?
Absolutely. And you're still good at interviews, Pedro. Always appreciate the time, man. It's going to be a really awesome fight, July 2nd, UFC 276. If there's anyone you'd like to thank, any sponsors or any social media you want to promote, I'll give you the last word.
Man, I want to thank you, you know, for doing a good job as usual, and I can't wait to see you in Vegas on July 2nd, my man.
That's right, man. I can't wait to get back and cover it on the front lines, man. So I'm really excited and excited for your fight, man. Appreciate it.